This is the Transformers Generations War for Cybertron Trilogy Kingdom Leader Class Megatron. Yes, Megatron. Terrorize. Oh my gosh. One of my very first Predacons from the Beast Wars line back in the day. One of the first few toys I had. Very nice to actually have him again, but now in a modern format, updated look. And here is Kingdom Megatron out of packaging. He's looking also Beast Wars, Megatrony, Predacon leader. There's a whole lot of things going on with this figure, but suffice to say, the robot mode does what it needs to do. It is a fantastic representation of the Predacon leader, Megatron. Yes, Megatron. He can terrorize the Maximals. Oh my goodness. I think the robot mode came out great. It is not without issues. We'll get to all of that in a little while. I have a lot of things to say about this figure, but let's just admire how great the aesthetic that Hasbro and Takara Tomy did on this robot mode. The kibble on the back is mistransformed. I get that. I had to put up these panels, the leg panels up like that. I thought it looks better. It's mistransformed. It's supposed to be folded downwards. I thought it was very obtrusive, and it was kind of too much of a kibble, and I thought it would be much more orderly. And I thought the kibble put up a better aesthetic with the pads or the panels up, or the Dinobot or the Dinosaur panels up like that. Let me know what you think in the comments if I did the right thing, but that's not how it's supposed to be transformed. The blast effect that you see coming out of the T-Rex's mouth, which is also his right hand, came from the Siege Jetfire figure. You can put any blast effect you want, but I thought this was the best one. The narrow cone of the blast just fits nicely, doesn't hit the teeth and all that. I love what they've done with the colors for this particular figure. The purple, the two kinds of purple, the Barney purple and the McDonald's Grimace purple, they came out great. I love the silver highlights. I love the metallic finish that they've put in the robot mode, robot bits. But most importantly, I think the best-selling feature of this figure is right here. I think that is a glorious Beast Wars Predacon Megatron head sculpt. I think they did a wonderful job with this head sculpt. Paint-wise, very minor issues on the head sculpt. You can clearly see that some of the gunmetal gray paint on the nose is bleeding on to the magenta purple on his cheeks. Very, very minor issues right there. The eyes came out great. That Predacon symbol on the crest of his forehead came out absolutely terrific. Look at that for such a small tempo. It has such intricate details. I think they did a wonderful job on that one. This is the original release, meaning that the mouth is not the Ninja Turtle grimace we've seen going around online. This is the original scowling look. Yes, Megatron, the Predacons will conquer this planet and get all the energon. Yes. I mean, he's really a wonderful head sculpt. This is really a wonderful head sculpt, and this is what I think will sell this robot mode. You can see more of the detailing right here on his chest panels, crotch piece, the leg pieces. I think just an amazing sculpt for the robot mode. Now, in terms of articulation, the figure has a ball jointed neck. He's got a waist swivel right here. The arms can swivel forward and backward, go in and out. Same with this one. Slight variations in articulation. For the forearm, the Dinosaur arm has moving jaws like these, which is really the articulation for beast mode. The forearm can go this way and that way, and again, this is the articulation for beast mode. That's why it can move that way. The left arm has regular arm motion, the bicep swivel, hinge elbow, no swivel wrist. The tail, the Dinobot, the Dinosaur mode, can move up and down, which is kind of like a claw, and this one can go in and out like this. So yeah, I was surprised they actually put the fist right here, because in the original Beast Wars toy, I don't recall seeing a fist. I thought it was just a claw and another claw right here, sort of giving Megatron two massive hands and claws with the tail and the dinosaur head sculpt. The feet can go in and out, forward and backward. On my copy, the forward and backward hinge is very loose. So he sometimes can do a pose, sometimes he just loves to topple over backwards. That's okay. The knees go rotate this way, go forward and backward, up and down. You got the forward and backward foot articulation, and surprisingly, it has some ankle articulation. Actually, not surprisingly, because most of the War for Cybertron trilogy figures have the ankle rocker tilt. So that's so cool. Got some details right here. The original toy had like missiles that could launch like that. They've shrunk the side panels, and I thought it was a better aesthetic. It's got some blasters molded in and sculpted in right there. And as promised, I wanted to show you how it was properly transformed. These panels should be done like this. And honestly, I think it's just way too clunky. In robot mode, it feels like he has a cape or an out-of-place kibble. So I'm happy with the way I did it, but it's really up to you. It's just an option. You can do whatever you want with the figure, but overall, just a fantastic aesthetic. And for some size comparisons, here is Predacon Megatron with Generation Select's Super Megatron. It's a great scale. I'm very, very happy with the scale, albeit it's a little small for a leader class compared to some leader class figures back in the day, but it works for me. And now for the dreaded transformation, which really ticked me off. And quite honestly, to be frank about it, I am not a big fan of the transformation for Megatron. It transforms almost exactly as the way he did on the show, but the way Hasbro executed it, it could use some work. So let's get right to it. So what you want to do is you want to start with the arms. And this is where all the problems begin. So you want to fold this piece right here, rotate this tip right here, and then these pieces. These are made of some soft and hard pieces, which just doesn't fold as nicely as you want them to. Like when you fold them this way, it's so difficult to get them back because the soft rubbery pieces, the soft PVC material, they really get stuck in there. And I'm pretty sure I'm just bad luck with my copy, but it tends to warp, and it was really not a fun transformation. Anyway, you want to fold these pieces right here. You can clearly see all the gaps here and there and the warpage right here. The pieces on my copy have just warped. It should be straight like that, but yeah. And then the instructions say you have to tab all of them in, like all four of these tabs. All four of those tabs right there, you're going to tab them onto the sort of the thumb of the claw. And it is a pain to do so. I don't know why. I've tried it several times, and every time I do it, it is just a big nuisance to do so. And there. So if you tab them okay, nice and flush, they kind of sit nicely. There's a lot of gaps going on here and there. Okay. Go ahead and rotate it this way. It's going to be in that position, or maybe later, just so you'll have clearance to rotate the robot mode. The top part of the robot is going to rotate, so you need as much clearance as you can. This thing is just going to stay right here. I'll rotate this way. We'll do that later. Then what you want to do is you want to detach this piece right here. Now you feel it's so easy and it's so loose, but the first time you try and do this, it is going to be very tight. Always tight the first time you do it, but when you just have to push onto the crotch piece like this to detach that top part, the top midsection, and it'll come off quite easily. Okay, and then what you want to do is you want to raise him all the way here, fold it like this, and rotate. Am I doing this properly? Yeah, the head part should go here. This is the neck piece, so it should go all the way right here, just like in the cartoon and the original toy. And then there is a tab right here. Don't know if you can see the tab right here is going to snap onto that slot right there, just like that. We'll do it later, but it's supposed to snap in like that. Okay, it looks like a mess, but things will be less messier once we get him in his dinosaur mode. Now the crotch piece right here is going to split up. It is again very tight. It is not a lot of fun to do so. Even if it's not the first time you're doing it, it's still tight. Okay, you fold it up like this, and then you got to bend at the hinges right here, which is again not a pleasant transformation. It feels like you're going to break that hinge, but you just keep at it, keep at it. It's tight. It's going to be very tight, and you just fold it down like that till it snaps in. That was not a lot of fun. Okay, and then what you want to do is rotate the legs like this. You can clearly see where this thing is headed. Okay, and here, more annoying bits. Oh, sorry, rotate the feet this way. My bad, obviously, because this is the belly. And fold down the, you're going to rotate this neck piece right here and tuck in the Megatron robot head. Okay, at this point, you want to rotate the dinosaur head like that. And the dinosaur tail is going to stay like this. This piece right here, that whole backpack, kind of feels like they're wings from the Megatron Transmetal. Like, I honestly hope they do the Transmetals, because I thought they were great toys back in the day. And if they do an updated version, it's going to be really cool. Okay, and then these holes right here, they're going to slot onto these. Okay, just like that. Come on. Okay, and you have sort of a supposedly a seamless dinosaur hide, but the hide, the skin of the dinosaur is just cracking in pieces, in places here and there. Not as seamless as I wanted it to be. So fold up these things. These two flaps right here are on springs, so they tend to flop or flop back right back into these panels. So just be patient with them. Go do this and this. Kind of get this thing underneath so it stops them from folding back. And then the head is going to sort of squeeze in like this. And here's another tricky bit. These pieces right here are made of soft rubbery plastic as well. You're going to fold them right here, right down here onto the belly. Same here. And they're supposed to connect. There's tabs right there that's going to connect to this part, the shoulder piece. On my copy, it takes so much effort to do so, and what I did just to get it, because the instructions tell you to do it at the same time. I did it one at a time. Just punch in one first and make sure this one is flush right here. And let me just show you. And then this one, if you can, just tab it in right here. And then this one here, and it's supposed to stay there, just like that. And it doesn't feel, it honestly doesn't feel like it's a solid fit. But let's continue with the transformation. We'll reserve all the comment and judgment once he's in beast mode. So everything goes like this. You can open the jaw a little bit like that. The dino hands, T-Rex hands, are going to stay like this. Panel right here is going to untab, rotate, and then tab right back in. Do the same on the other side. Untab, rotate, and tab back in. The hip, I guess the dino hip panels are going to slide in like this. Slide in like this. And what's nice about this is that hinge where it rotates will also act as a hinge for the dino leg, which is pretty cool. So that whole this sort of shoulder piece or dinosaur panel right here moves simultaneously with the hinge, the leg hinge, the hip joint right there. Same with this one. I thought that was a pretty cool piece of engineering. Okay, let me just stand him up right here, and you're done. If you just line up all the knees like this and like that, you're pretty much done. It's just a matter of balancing out the dinosaur form. And yeah, you're basically done. That is the dinosaur mode or the beast mode of Predacon Megatron. And for some size comparisons, here is Rat Trap with Predacon Megatron. You can clearly see how perfect the scale is. Well, it should be a little bit smaller, but I love the scale. I think it turned out great. quick look at the robot, the beast mode. Just a few comments again. You can clearly see the panels just not fitting as squarely. It's really such a nuisance to transform this figure into this beast mode. You can clearly see all the gaps here and there. The soft PVC material is just a downer. It just doesn't tab in as nicely. And when you bend the knee, there's a lot of gap right there. And the only way to pose him, to keep everything covered, robot mode, is to keep the legs a little bit straight, which is a shame. The only thing nice about these legs is they retain all the articulation of the robot mode legs, with the rocker tilts, the ankle tilts, the ankle joints, the knee joints, as well as the hip joints. That's great and all, but I wish there was a better way to have concealed these parts so you could pose him in better, more dynamic poses. Okay, the tail, as I mentioned, does move from left to right. That's because of the arm. That's great. Not necessary in my opinion. I wish they could have used most of the money to fix these gaps right here, and there. The head, I think, has probably the best articulation. Go up and down, go left and right, and the jaw can do the chomp chomp. Yes, Optimus Primal, you will surrender to the Predacons. Anyway, so that's pretty cool, and you can still attach the blast beam like. So yeah, robot mode was great, but beast mode is a little bit annoying, and I honestly did not enjoy transforming him from one mode to the other. Man, I just wish they could have made it more stable, and yeah, and less fiddly, less gaps and all that. So yeah, this is kind of a bit of a fail for me. And so some final thoughts on this figure. Albeit the robot mode was amazing, transformation was really annoying for me, and the beast mode was a little bit of a letdown for me because of all the gaps, the soft PVC panels just not tabbing in. I thought they could have done so much more with this figure in terms of all these gaps and covering the robot pieces in a much better way. And I think this is Hasbro's pitfall when it comes to these beast transformers. It's the same thing that happened with their Age of Extinction Grimlock. It had a great robot mode, but the beast mode just has so many things lacking in it, and it's a shame. This is an amazing attempt at bringing back a modern take on a 90s classic Transformers figure of the Beast Wars Megatron. I thought it was a very solid effort, but unfortunately there are a lot of areas where it falls short. So I'm going to give this figure a 8 out of 10. Not entirely blown away, but it is a pass for me. So if you're looking for a modern take on the Beast Wars Megatron for Season 1 of the Beast Wars, the Kingdom Leader Class Megatron is the way to go, because the prices of the Japanese versions of those Beast Wars figures, the anniversary figures, they are just ridiculous prices online. And if you just need a T-Rex Megatron on your shelf for an affordable price, this is the way to go. Let me know in the comment section what you think of this figure. Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm being too hard on Hasbro with all my comments about the gaps and all that? It's a $60 figure out here in Manila. I know leader class figures are amazingly expensive out here. Is it worth your money? Is it worth hunting it down? Let me know in the comments, and as always, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. If it's your first time here, please subscribe, and if you want to help the channel out, please check out my Patreon account. There's a link in the description box below. Thanks for watching.